Fanatics also reported a 100% increase in sales for WNBA specific merchandise. It started with Caitlin Clark. And so now that we know all of this, and we've known that for months, now we get to turn around and look and see what exactly is it that the league will do knowing that she's out for the next 2 weeks. I'm not saying I know for sure what's going to happen, but I have an idea.
Just when it seemed like the WNBA was finally getting its act together, just when it looked ready to capitalize on the Caitlin Clark phenomenon and ride that momentum toward mainstream attention and real financial growth, this happens. And by this, I mean the injury that has sent basketball fans, sports commentators, and even Stephen A. Smith into a full-blown frenzy.
Unfortunately, though, the celebration in the WNBA, it was cut short yesterday afternoon as WNBA players learned the harsh lesson: be careful what you wish for. Headline at the New York Post: Caitlin Clark sidelined with Indiana Felines announcing shock injury. Keyword: shock. This injury was shocking, but not for reasons that you may think.
Caitlin Clark, the player who almost single-handedly transformed women's basketball from a niche interest your die-hard hoops cousin followed into must-watch TV that makes people cancel plans, is now stuck on the bench with a left quad strain. At least 2 weeks, they say. 2 weeks where the WNBA is expected to act like losing its biggest star, its golden goose, its walking ratings boost, won't cause viewership to collapse like a house of cards in a hurricane.
Everybody was moving Caitlin Clark games to bigger facilities because everyone was selling tickets. There were ratings. It was a ratings bonanza. Now with Caitlin Clark not playing, what do? Well, when you change your situs, guess what? You can't change it back.
Yep. The tickets are literally half the price, and there are entire sections of the stadium that have not sold any tickets.
So, who was the first to completely lose it over this? Who was the first to point out how absurd the whole situation is? None other than Stephen A. Smith, the same guy who's been backing Caitlin Clark from the very beginning, even while a large part of the WNBA establishment treated her like a basketball tourist who somehow stumbled into their league by accident.
Thanks to Clark, Indiana led the league in attendance both at home and on the road. The Fever averaged 17,035 fans at home and over 15,000 on the road. 4 teams moved home games to bigger arenas when Indiana came to town to accommodate more fans. That's about Caitlin Clark. How do we know this? Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year, according to data from across the timeline, and Indiana led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up 319% from the year earlier.
Stephen A. didn't just weigh in on the injury. He went completely scorched earth. And honestly, it was overdue. While others tiptoe around the obvious, hiding behind political correctness, and refusing to admit that Caitlin Clark is essentially carrying the league, Stephen A. is out here laying out truths so clear they'd make a mathematician proud. We'll see. We don't know yet, he said when asked how damaging Clark's injury could be for the WNBA. But I'm going to be very, very interested to see what happens to the league's ratings. And if there's a significant drop-off, then everyone needs to calm down.
We'll find out. We don't know yet, but I'm going to be really, really interested in seeing, Molly, what kind of effect this has on the WNBA's ratings. Because if for some reason there is a precipitous drop-off, then everybody needs to stand down and recognize the fact that the speculation or the assertions and assumptions about her being the golden goose is validated.
If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe. And honestly, Stephen A., you brilliant voice of reason, because that's exactly what's about to happen. He's practically sitting there with a stopwatch, ready to mark the moment the WNBA finally realizes it's been undervaluing its most important asset. It's like watching someone complain about being broke while ignoring a pile of gold right in front of them. Stephen A. is the one shouting, "The gold is right there." Now let's talk numbers for a second, since it seems some people in the WNBA front office could use both a calculator and a wake-up call. Games featuring Caitlin Clark this season are averaging 1.178 million viewers. Games without her? Just 394,000. That's not a small gap. That's a 199% difference, a canyon wide enough to drive a freight train through. Put simply, and in terms even the most Mathaverse executive can grasp, games with Clark draw 3 times the audience of games without her. 3 times.
Became the first rookie with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. That was Caitlin Clark. Became the 4th different rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. That was her. I'm looking at other things. 6 different league television partners. This is last year. This is last season, because this is Caitlin Clark that we're talking about. 6 different league television partners set viewership records that year, her rookie year, for its highest viewed WNBA game. Do you know every one of those games included the Indiana Fever?
But this is where things really start to heat up. Stephen A. isn't just reacting to the injury. This moment has been brewing for months. He's watched the WNBA trip over itself, trying to figure out how to manage its biggest star. He's seen legends like Cheryl Swoops treat Clark like an outsider instead of the lifeline the league badly needed. He's watched league leadership, including Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, offer half-hearted responses when they should have been rolling out the red carpet. Now that Clark is sidelined, Stephen A. is essentially delivering the most dramatic version imaginable of "I told you so." The speculation and assumptions about her being the golden goose are being validated, Stephen A. said. And when that happens, you ride the wave. A rising tide lifts all boats. If she's the magnetic force pulling viewers to the WNBA, and her 2-week absence because of the quad strain proves that even more, then everyone needs to accept it, stand down, and ride that wave. Put more plainly, the WNBA's ratings are about to fall off a cliff, and Stephen A. is ready to wield those numbers like a sledgehammer against anyone who's been too proud or too stubborn to admit what's been obvious from the start.
Rising tide lifts all boats. And if this is the magnetic traction that draws viewers to the WNBA, and her absence over the next 2 weeks due to that quad strain is providing further evidence of that, then everybody needs to accept it, stand down, and ride that wave. I'm going to be really interested in seeing how the ratings are going to look without her over the next 2 weeks. Let's make sure we come back and ask me this exact same question after she's been gone for those 2 weeks.
Let's rewind for a second and look at how we ended up here. The moment Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA, she became a one-woman economic engine. The season opener between Clark's Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky pulled in 2.7 million viewers on ABC, making it the most-watched WNBA game ever across ESPN platforms. That figure isn't just strong, it's almost unbelievable for a league that's spent more than 20 years fighting for relevance. And yet, here's the twist. Instead of league executives dropping to their knees and thanking the basketball gods for delivering such a gift, the response was underwhelming. Tepid press releases. Safe, generic social media posts. It was as if they were uncomfortable with their own success, afraid to admit that a single player could have that much impact. Stephen A. Smith watched this unfold in real time, steadily building toward an inevitable explosion of frustration. He's seen Clark shatter ratings records, fill arenas, and effectively pull the WNBA into the mainstream, all while certain players and commentators acted as though she hadn't earned the spotlight.
We know what she brings to the table, but people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm, and they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had. They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here, and y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now, the young white girl comes along, and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up.
The next few weeks will put everything Stephen A. Smith has been saying to the test. And based on the ratings, the sold-out arenas, and the hard numbers already on the board, he's about to be proven right, whether he wants to be or not. When the dust settles, the WNBA will be forced to face a truth he's been shouting for months. They had their savior, and they took her for granted. Now they'll learn what the league looks like without her.